I did work a little bit more out in the country for the first year and a half, so we did see a few more snake bites out there. So it tend to be your brown snake, which basically in dogs, they go down quite quickly, but it can be quite scary, especially for the owner when they bring it in.
Welcome to the Possum Companion, where pets are part of our family. I'm your host, Joanna Herrera, the founder of Coco and Bondi. I'm very excited to interview experts and pet owners to share their stories and insights so you can use them to take care of your babies. Hello, Karen. How are you today?
I'm really good, thank you, Joanna.
I know that you are a veterinarian.
I am indeed.
So thank you for being here. Tell me, do you have any pets?
I don't at the moment. I have had dogs and cats since in my 20s, and it's a long time. But my most recent dog unfortunately passed away end of last year, and I just haven't felt the time is right yet to get another one. But one will appear. That's what usually happens. Something comes along needing a home that I'll be ready for. Yeah,
and I reckon you see many pets every single day, so you get the time to enjoy animals.
Exactly,
anyway.
and I get to see the whole range from little puppies and kittens to your older, more senior things, and a few rabbits and stuff thrown in. So I get to see the lot.
How long time have you been in the industry?
It's actually 31 years now, so a long time. I qualified way back in 1993, so long time.
Okay, and I know that you are not from Australia.
No, I'm originally from the UK, born and bred somewhere near Liverpool in the northwest, but actually went to university up in Scotland, in Glasgow. So I've been around a bit as well.
That's great. So you came straight to Australia, working in the vet.
Yes, I came over here 10 years ago. And luckily my degree sort of is the same over here, so I was able to immediately look for work in veterinary practices over here, and just go from one to the other.
And how do you find it to work in the same industry but in Australia?
Yeah,
is it different?
Different and same. Certain things exactly the same. The same routine stuff comes through. Just different diseases. There's a few different diseases in the UK that isn't here, and vice versa.
Interesting.
Coming over here, I've never seen something like we only have one dangerous snake in the UK that no one ever sees.
Okay.
So coming over here and then having to deal with a snake bite, I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing with this.
Oh my God.
So that was it was a nice learning curve. I had to sort of really relearning some of the things like that, and heartworm and stuff that we just don't have in the UK, to try and learn how to deal with it over here. So it was good. It actually get my brain working and
interesting. So what are those cases? Because I'm very interested in hearing something more about that, about like snakes that have bite an animal. Do you have experience that you say, oh my God, this is the worst thing that could ever happen? Or
I only really know sort of here the Adelaide ones, because that's what I've been dealing with here.
Yeah,
and we don't see many where I am now. I did work a little bit more out in the country for the first year and a half, so we did see a few more snake bites out there. So it tend to be your brown snake, which in dogs, they go down quite quickly, and they usually come in collapsed, may have problems breathing. So it was a matter then of, luckily there is an anti-venom that we can use, so we'd sort of get them on that, treating with that, and then just supporting the body and supporting the dog until it has chance to work its out the system, the anti-venom has chance to work, but it can be quite scary, especially for the owner, when they bring it in. Cats are a little bit more resistant to it, not 100%, but cats, they can get bitten and you won't realise until like a day or so later before they start showing the signs, because they're a little bit more.
And what are the sort of signs that you actually know that happen?
It can be a number of things, but usually it's the paralysis side of things. So certainly with a cat, it will start to become wobbly, it won't be able to walk properly, and so a dog, usually it becomes collapsed very, very quickly.
Yeah,
okay. So they're the kind of, just if you ever see your dog or your cat playing with a snake, get it to a vet straight away, just in case, unless you're absolutely certain it hasn't been bitten, but it's hard to know. And you can't really find the bite or anything, we just have to treat as though it has been bitten. And hope, and sort of try and get it to recover.
Oh my God,
as much as we can.
That's scary.
Yeah. In the UK, it's not something we had to deal with.
I imagine.
Very different.
So what are the sort of animals that can attack our pets, like apart from the snakes, what other like insects or reptiles can?
Yeah, the big one, snakes is the big one here. You will get bees, they will get stung from bees and things like that as well.
Yeah. I have seen the
With those,
Instagram videos with all of the
yeah, all swollen up faces,
yeah.
So yeah, we'll see that, and certain dogs seem more prone to it, I think, because some are more curious and others are naughty, yeah. So we'll see that. The swelling, as long as it's not too bad, will usually go down, and we can easily treat it. You just have to worry if they like swallow a bee or get it in their mouth, because then if it swells up at the back of the neck, it can restrict the breathing, and then we need to be a bit more quick as to do something, yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, they're the main thing, yeah. Any wildlife can attack anything at the end of the day, but most wildlife keep themselves to themselves, thankfully.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This is something to think of, like when you are a pet parent, to be able to see around what is happening.
Definitely, yeah.
To be able to protect the animals from anything.
And I have seen and so know people whose dogs have been attacked by kangaroos as well. When especially bigger dogs, they'll go up to them, and the kangaroo's not impressed, and they can do quite a lot of damage because they'll use their feet and their claws to basically slice down the side of an animal. God. So that can be pretty nasty, yeah.
So that's pretty dangerous as well.
It's very dangerous.
Kangaroos are very strong as well.
Incredible, yeah.
Yeah. I reckon some dogs are very brave to go against.
Sometimes they just don't know as well. Some dogs, I think they just want
to play.
They just want to know what it is and go and see. But it's not a good idea at all. No, definitely keeps your dog away from the kangaroos.
Absolutely, that's one of the things that our listeners needs to keep in mind.
Yes,
if there is any kangaroos around their houses on the area, it's something to look at.
Definitely keep a check, and don't let your dog get too near them.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are one of the things that as a pet owner needs to know in terms of visiting a vet? Like how many times a year someone should just go and see a vet, or what are the follow vaccination things that we have?
So both dogs and cats require a yearly vaccination. They're slightly different things, and they can have different things each year depending on what stage of life they're in. But it's at least once a year. I recommend, and so our practice is we at least see them every 6 months, just so we can check their weight, make sure they're doing okay, and just hopefully, especially as they get older, pick up the start of problems, because that's when we can do more about them, as waiting till it's further down the line. So especially as they get older, with things like arthritis or soreness, things like that, we can do much more at the beginning than wait till it gets too bad. And that's so every 6 months, always good to go and get a checkup. But especially with dogs, I actually would recommend, especially if your vet's local, is just popping in to see them. We always have treats on the front desk. Yeah. We have treats in the consult. Just call in on your walk so we can give your pet a nice treat and a cuddle. And also it means then they don't hate us quite so much, because otherwise every time they come to us, we're jabbing them or poking them or something horrid. So it's nice that they come in, because then they want to come in more as well, and they're happy to see us. It makes it less stressful for them and owners if they get used to us as well. So yeah, if your vet's local, pop in on a walk, say hello. Usually most vets the receptionist will have treats. We can give them treats, say hello to them, give them a fuss, and they go, and it's a nice visit. It's something nice.
Some of the questions that I got in our channels already is that people are not sure. Like obviously you say annually you have to bring your dogs probably every 6 months, but what are the first vaccinations that people have to keep in mind when they have puppies, let's say?
The first
vaccinations that they should...
Vaccinations, yes, sorry. Yeah. So basically...
All cats,
obviously. All cats as well. Cats as well, yes. We've got to remember cats. So puppies, it's usually 3 vaccinations throughout their course. And what we're vaccinating against is the major diseases. So 3 of them is something called distemper, hepatitis, and parvovirus. Now, all these are viral diseases that can kill. They are dangerous diseases. So that's 2 parts of the vaccine that we give. So 2 of the vaccines out of the 3 are them, to make sure they're fully vaccinated out again. 2 to 3. All 3 of them have that part in. Sorry. So all 3 have that part in, because they're the really dangerous diseases. Now, after that, we revaccinate them against those 3 at a year old. This is for dogs. And then after that, the vaccine we use at our practice, there are different vaccines out there. But after that, we do it every 3 years because we know that the immunity lasts longer. So we don't do it every year.
That's for particular. Any sort of...
Yeah, those diseases for dogs, we do it every 3 years.
And for cats?
Cats is a little bit different. So otherwise, also with dogs, there are 2 other things we vaccinate against. And they're parts of what we call canine cough or kennel cough, as it's also known. But that has to be done yearly. So it's part of your puppy vaccines and then it's done yearly because that one only lasts a bit more like the flu vaccine in people.
Yeah.
Like that. Cats a little bit different. So we have what we call core vaccines in cats. So every cat should get what we call an F3, which is cat flu, and then 2 sorts of enteritis, which is a gut viral disease. So it causes you vomiting, diarrhea, and things like that. And again, they're nasty diseases. And they're the main ones we vaccinate against cats. So it's usually 2 to 3 vaccines when they're kittens, depending on their age, and then they are yearly after that. There are other vaccines available for cats, but it does vary depending on what sort of cat and whether they go out or stay in. If they go out a lot and go wandering off and get in fights a lot, there are vaccines for something called feline leukemia and feline immunodeficiency virus, or feline AIDS as it's known, because those diseases are passed from cat to cat only and cat fighting. So if they don't go out and mix with other cats,
that's fine.
They don't. Yeah, they don't need it. With the flu and enteritis, because they're quite hardy viruses. We can actually bring them in on our shoes and things. So even if it's an indoor only cat,
it's recommended.
It's still recommended to do because we can transport that vaccine on our clothes and our shoes.
Okay,
so it's still recommended to do.
Okay, that's interesting to know. Do you have many situations where people come, like with their cats with illnesses about cats being exposed to be outdoors by themselves or things like that?
Again, it's the same with most animals. If they go out and about, they're more likely to pick diseases up because they're going to mix with other animals possibly, or whatever's on the floor, sniffing, licking, eating things that they shouldn't do. So cats is just that weird one. If they get into cat fights, which a lot of cats will if they go out and about and mix with cats they don't know, it's just those there are those specific 2 diseases we do have to watch out for. Dogs, it's not so much. If they get into fights, it's general sort of wounds and scratches and things. They don't necessarily spread a disease from one dog to the next.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Because normally the dogs are more exposed to externals.
Yeah.
When people take them for walks or parks or things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they still can pick things up. The other thing is parasites in dogs as well, especially when they go out and about, because there's various worms the parasitic worms in the dog's guts, but they can survive in the egg form and the larva form in the ground. So where lots of dogs go, things like dog parks and stuff, there's probably something in there that you don't want. So again, you just make sure your dog's either wormed or tested regularly to make sure that it's clear of things like that as well.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay. So another question that we got is that how we stop our animals to vomit inside the cars when you are in a road
travel
or when
sickness.
You are in a trip. Yeah. Travel sickness.
It depends a little bit on the dog and sort of what exposure they've had. The things to remember is you want to try and get them used to the car when they're young, when they're the puppies, or even cats. You can do it with cats. I once had a cat that he loved traveling in the car, and he would come places
and
with
stay
me
in the car.
Yeah, and stay in the car. He just didn't care. Him and the dog would curl up together in the back seat of the car, and they were happy as Larry and didn't mind. But he was used to it, and that's the thing. It's first of all, it's getting them used to it. So as puppies, getting them used to traveling in the car, but you got to do it slowly as well. So short little distances. Don't go for an 8-hour drive. Straight away. So short little distances, and then once they're able to go out for walks, the car can become a nice thing because then they know they're going somewhere nice. They're going to the beach, they're going to the park. So again, they associate it with something nice. So most puppies will be a little bit travel sick because same as kids, it's a little bit different. So you get them used to it slowly, get the car in a nice place and do it. There are still some dogs that suffer from true travel sickness, and no matter how much they like the car, they just
is there any pill
there is
have?
So there are medications we can use now which can help settle that down, and a lot of them what I've found when I've used it in the past is some dogs will you only need to use it 2, 3, 4 times or a few times, and that seems to break that cycle, and the dog is able to sort of cope a little bit more. Some dogs just never get over it. Yeah, the tablets help, but yeah, they have to use it every time.
Yeah.
But at least there are things that we can use. But the majority, it's just getting them used to it, getting them used to that motion and getting them slowly, small little journeys, and building up their tolerance to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, for example, my dog used to be like very scared of being in the car. And now he loves it because he knows that he's going to get rewarded to go to a nice place to visit, for a walk. He now learned a few words. So when I said to him, like, we're going to see doggies or we're going to see a park, oh my God, he's yes, I'm in. He jumps.
Jumping, bouncing around,
Yeah. So he loves it.
Yeah.
One of the things that we get asked a lot is like, what are the things that people can make in their houses, like, for example, herbal things or things that people can make for the animals, or it doesn't exist for animals, only for humans?
There are stuffs available. I'm not really I don't know about making my own because I'm not really that way inclined myself either. But certainly there are things that can help, natural products that can help with various, issues.
Okay.
There are certain herbs that can help with calming. I back in the UK, I had one of my collies that I had. She was a really nervy collie. She hated any loud sounds. She was that really on edge at all times. Yeah. And I used to use got it from a pet shop, sort of packaged calming herbs, and it had sort of things like, I can't remember what it had in it off the top of my head, but it's known herbs that we use in people that can help calm. And it didn't do everything, but it definitely helped along with other things that I then did to help her, just making sure everything was where things were, didn't change things on her, just kept the sound of volume things down. And but it definitely helped. So there are natural products that can help.
But still you need to buy them.
I would buy them from, pet stores or your vets, just because more like they've been tested and we know what's in there.
Absolutely.
Well. Yeah. And if they are geared for pets, hopefully the research has been put in as to what levels as well. Because again, there are a lot of natural things can be poisonous or toxic.
Or they can get allergies to that.
Exactly, yeah.
So I was telling to you outside the cameras that my dog is suffering now of allergies and things like that. So how I can realize when my dog is being affected for something that he's eating?
Now, dogs can be allergic to lots of things. So some of it can be food-based. It can also be environmental.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they kind of present in the same way. And usually is the fact that itchy. That's what we see, is the itchy, usually all over. Sometimes if it's more contact, i.e. things on the ground, it might be more like feet or belly, but it's not 100%. So when they're itching a lot, there will be something, and whether it's environmental, food, or even a combination of the two, it can be as well. Sometimes if it's food-based, you may get like diarrhea or vomiting as well. But it's this constant itching. Where they're literally just itching all the time. And that can be a sign definitely of an allergy or what we call atopy, where they're just reactive to lots of different things as well.
Which I feel that is quite hard to understand, because if you see a pet rushing all the time, and like mine, he doesn't eat sometimes. So it's so hard. I'm feeling like, oh my God, he's getting an upset tummy. Yeah. And that would be the reason why he's scratching as well his body.
It absolutely can be. Luckily, we've got lots of different things that can help things now, from, what we call if we think it's food-based, we basically strip the food back to the absolute basics. So we'll either use one of the made foods, from like Royal Canin or Hills or something, where they're hypoallergenic, or even if people want to make their own, we'll usually get them to go to what we call a novel protein. So it'll be something the dog's never had before, and we use that as the basis of the diet. But the problem with food allergies, once you start on what we call these sort of diets, hypoallergenic diets, is it will take 6 to 8 weeks for what's in the system to get out and the itching to settle down. So you're not going to see an instant result. So you're going to have to give it time.
Hmm.
And then if it does work, great, you can then start adding things in. But again, you have to give it like 2 to 4 weeks to see if what you've added in is gonna set the itching off again. And you've got to do it really, really slowly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it like is as well like understanding the patterns when you feed an animal with a particular thing.
Yep. Yeah, especially if, we're all a little prone. We tend to not so much swap and change, but we'll give them extras. We'll do, give them something off the plate. We'll change the food. So it's sometimes really hard to be able to tell what has started it and what's triggered it. So you've sort of got to try and maybe work back, or the good old food diaries like they do with people. Do exactly the same with your dogs and cats as well. We do see cats with allergies as well. Not as common, but we do get the odd one, and it's the same thing.
Yeah. So is there I just have a question in particular, like regards to meat. Meat has to be cooked or boiled, or it can be raw meat.
Okay.
Because this is a question that every pet owner of a cat, of a dog has.
Yeah. Whatever suits your pet at the end of the day. Okay. I'm not, if a dog or a cat comes into me that's being fed a raw diet and it looks well on it, absolutely keep on with it. I'm not going to change that because it's suiting that pet in front of me.
Okay.
If it's coming in though and it's not looking great, I'm going to go, maybe we need to add something else in, or maybe we need to change something. The only thing we have to be aware with raw food is there is a higher risk of bacterial contamination and parasitic contamination. So you've just got to be aware of that. I've got nothing against feeding a raw diet, but just be aware that you need to make sure that it's been stored properly, you handle it properly, and so where you get it from as well. So you just got to be extra careful. If you cook it, you're getting rid of all that side of things already. So
absolutely.
To me personally, I've always fed my own animals your bagged, your dry food, because it's just easier. It's just me personally, I find it easier. Saying that though, my cat would cat and my dogs would sometimes get cooked meat, because that's what I've cooked extra. They can have some as well. I never really fed them raw meat, but that's a personal thing. But I've got nothing against somebody doing that, as long as they take precautions and they're careful on how and what they use it. And you've got to be a little bit careful, because if you buy human meat, it actually, you've just got to be a little bit careful again with the bacteria side of things, because they're expecting us to cook it for ourselves. Our chicken breast off Woolworths, they're expecting us to go and cook that.
And that makes sense, to be honest.
Because we're not going to eat it raw. So if you then feed it to your dog raw, it may not be as safe as we think it is.
Yeah.
Because, it's being made to be cooked. So and it's really what suits the pet. As I said, I have changed dogs over. I've known clients who changed dogs over from, your processed food to more natural food to raw food. And it's really done the animal well. But I've also seen it the other way, where they've been on a raw or a homemade diet, and we've swapped it to a packaged diet, and the animal's done a lot better on it. So people will scream one side or the other. I am actually quite happy for whatever suits that animal and that pet, as long as they're doing well on it.
Yeah.
And that's what's important to me.
Another thing that I have seen is that people feed animals as well with vegetables, which I love. My animal,
absolutely.
Like my dog loves carrots. He loves it. And I feel that that's another probably thing that you can add to it.
And it's great because you can add it to the meat, and also you can if the dogs really like them, you can use them as treats, and they don't have high calories and stuff like that. So you're not giving them lots of salt or lots of calories, so they're not going to get fat, as long as the dog likes them. My last 2 dogs were Alaska Malamutes, and they hated vegetables. No chance. You give them a carrot and literally they sort of put it in their mouth and go, and then literally spit it out, and you're like, oh, okay, you're not vegetable dogs then.
I know some of that, like mine is because I gave him since he was a puppy, so he probably thinks
that there's something tasty,
something like, a proper food for him. But I don't know.
Some dogs are like, no, I'm not eating that.
And I'm not sure about cats. They like vegetables, maybe.
It depends. Again, they're carnivore. Cats are more carnivores, so they do like their meat. Saying that again, one of my cats, I shouldn't have fed him, but he would like your salt and vinegar chips. Get out of the packet.
Oh my God.
He had this thing for them. So it's like you give him one. outside, he'd sit there munching on it. But yeah, I shouldn't have done that. That's very naughty. But he would literally sit there waiting.
As long as it's not overfeeding them.
Exactly.
With
it wasn't very often.
And not for animals.
A small bit. Just a small bit.
Absolutely.
Small bit.
So one of the questions here is also, cats can have milk? Because we have seen that they love milk, but some of them throw up the milk. And, you know, like, is this a thing? Or
okay. Again, it depends on the amount on the cat. Some cats will drink it and are fine with it, but again, not too much.
Okay.
Some cats, it does seem to upset the stomach because it's a bit too rich for them. But you can get actual cat milk from a lot of pet stores, which is I don't know how they've done it. I don't know, I'm not that way inclined, but I know it's just not quite as rich and has some of the different proteins.
Or you can give them skim milk. Or
you can try.
Almond,
it depends. Yeah, it depends
milk.
on the cat. You know, again, a couple of cats I've had, they drank milk and were fine with it. They didn't get it often, didn't get it frequently. I think you've just got to find what suits your cat. The other way is sometimes if people really want to give milk, is maybe just water it down. So like half milk, half water for the cat. And again, just not too much in one go. But if you find it makes it vomit, unfortunately,
no, that's
don't
not
give
good.
it. It's not good.
And in terms of dogs,
same
thing.
Same thing. Yeah. Yeah, my dogs used to love cheese. A lot of dogs love cheese.
My dog, I gave him recently cheese. Those ones that comes like a leaf. Like
like the slices type ones. Yeah.
Oh my God, he's so... But I was like, my partner always says to me, Joanna, have you checked if you are allowed to give that to the dog? And I'm like, I'm going to check first now, quickly.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah, but again, small amounts in moderation, not very often. And just watch what the dog does. You know, if you find that it causes diarrhea and vomiting, don't give it again.
Okay.
Yeah. Small little bits. Lots of dogs love cheese.
Yeah. And I feel like cheese is not a bad thing to eat.
Yeah, little bit. Just don't want lots, because you've got to remember, there are lots. Even the bigger dogs, they're still smaller than we are, and they metabolize the food very differently a lot of the time than we do. They can't process the food as well as we do. So a lot of fatty foods, unfortunately, things like cheese, milk, that sort of things can cause problems with sort of diarrhea and vomiting very, very easily. But small amounts quite often are okay. But you just got to be a little bit careful.
What about ice creams? Are we allowed as humans to give ice cream to dogs and cats?
Again, it depends on the animal, but in moderation, little bits. I will be honest. See, I don't have any pets at the moment, but I've been a pet owner, and we're all there. You know, you've been to McDonald's, you've been for a walk, but go to McDonald's and you've got your soft skirt. When you're getting towards the end, you're going to give the end to your dog.
Yeah,
that's what we do. But again, just not too much, and just be aware. Make a note and just think, because then if you find like a day later they're not well and they've got diarrhea,
the only thing that I will say of giving them like those naughty things are that they always expect that.
Exactly.
That's the only problem with me. Like when I give him once, he expect me to give him always something that I'm eating. Yeah. That's the only problem
and that's what the problem is. We do. They end up training us to give them all these things that we shouldn't be giving them, because they sit there looking at you going, oh, but I really want some of that, with their big eyes. But you've got to say no. You've got to be careful, because otherwise, they're just going to get fat or they're going to get ill. And maybe little bits now and again as a special treat.
Yeah,
but that's it.
Absolutely. My dog, when I'm eating chocolate, he of course I know that I cannot, but he gets crazy. Like, please give me, and I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah,
no, even if I want to, I can't. I know.
Definitely not chocolate. No.
So for those pet parents out there, what are the mass recommendations you want to give before we finish this show?
Yeah, we all love our pets, absolutely. But remember they're pets, whether it's a dog or a cat, that's what they are. They're a dog or a cat. Feed appropriately because of that. Don't overfeed, especially in dogs. That's a big one. We see lots of overweight dogs. And I did listen to one of your early pods with the dog trainer, and just give them things to do. You know, that's the thing. We want them to be happy and healthy. So watch what you feed, moderation, lots of exercise, mental stimulation, I like to see dogs and cats that like to come in. So yeah, as I said, visit us, visit your vet, even when you don't need to, just to say hello, so we can say hello to your dog as well. Because at the end of the day, we all love our pet. We all love pets regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good to have, obviously, a veterinarian that you trust and that you feel
you got to
care about your animals as well.
And the other thing I would say, we're humans as well. We're human beings. But if you're not sure or what we've said doesn't make sense, ask us back. We will gladly re-explain things. So because we want to do the best for your pet, and we need you to do that. And if you don't understand us, that's okay, because sometimes we can come out with big words and stuff like that. Just stop and say, "Oh, I don't get that. What do you mean?" It's okay. We'll explain it better. That's what we're there for,
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that we really appreciate from vets, to get like a little bit of understanding of how we can treat them in a way that they feel love, but at the same, we care for them in a way that is like actually caring
for them,
just giving them all that they want, because they want everything.
They do. Oh, absolutely.
All our food.
Yeah. All our bed.
Our loves, our bed, everything. Everything. When we realize they own half of our beds.
Oh, yeah.
And everywhere in the house.
Yeah.
Where can we find you? Tell us all about it, please.
I work at Hilton Vet, which is part of Pets Health Veterinary Surgeries, we're independent vets. We're owned actually by a vet. There's 2 sites, one at O'Halloran Hill and one Hilton area. So that's where I'm based. We've got all great vets there, and we all love our animals, and we will do the best that we can for any animal that comes in.
Thank you so much, Karen, for being here. We appreciate all this knowledge, and we will put all the information about your place where you work in our show notes, so everyone will follow you and know a little bit more, and potentially come to visit the vet to bring their pets as well.
That'd be great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of The Possum Companion. If you have any further questions for our experts, feel free to leave them in the show notes or reach out to me directly. And if you are a pet expert who would love to contribute to this podcast, we will be thrilled to hear from you. Don't forget to follow us, and if you enjoyed today's episode, we will really appreciate a 5-star review. Thanks again, and we will see you at the next episode.